to another edition of If You Asked Jimmy. Today, I have a very unique guest on the program. Incidentally, my guest will be the first female we'll be hosting on this show, and she's coming in big, big time. Guys, I have Buki Dada Aya, wife of Geke, on set today. Buki is a wife, a mother, somebody's daughter, and friend. She's an alumni of Commande Secondary School and the University of Jos in Nigeria. She's based in the US right now, and she is a senior project manager with years of experience spanning marketing, events, tech, construction, finance, and healthcare. Buki is an international leader with a people first outlook, a change agent with a desire to make a positive impact in the lives within her circle of influence, no matter how small. Welcome with me, Buki Dada. Over to you, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's actually a huge honor to be asked. I didn't know I was breaking records, but
Abs-
being the female guest you're having on the show, I'm honored and humbled. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we do hear about project managers. Like some people fear project managers. They talk about command and control. You understand? Like, I don't want to use the word bullies. Like, okay, you gotta get the job done on time, on schedule, on budget. Man, you look like someone that is so gentle, like a fashionista, like the queen that you are.
Thank you.
How do you manage the role where you have to get the work done?
Well, I mean, don't let the look fool you. Let me say it like that. I run a household of just men. I'm the only female in my household. So a firm hand is a definite requirement. But when it comes to project management, we make a joke in PMing that you're like a cattle rearer. You're pushing the cattle this way. You want them to go that way, and they're going in the opposite direction. People do what they need to do, how they need to do it. It's unfortunate sometimes you have to tell adults what to do. You're basically babysitting adults, but it is what it is. We thank God for the niche there that we have the opportunity to do what we need to do. However, they say you get bees with honey, right? I try to be nice, but I can be very, very firm. I have, like you said earlier, an alumni of command, so I have some military orientation, and us from the way we were raised back home and back kind of thing. So you just have to learn how to communicate in a way where you get what you want without offending other people. That in itself is an art. But for you to be a PM, you have to be a control freak. So to some degree, I can say I'm a control freak. So here we are. I hope that helps clear the air.
Well, what an excellent combination. Project manager with a military school background. But of course, you definitely will bring, you'll give the human face. You'll let your job and practice have a human face. You're Nigerian
For sure.
originally
Mm-hmm.
and
Always Nigerian,
always
not just
Nigerian. Okay.
originally.
Okay.
Niger for life.
I, I love that. Come to think of it, how long have you been in the United States?
Too long.
Really?
I've lived here now since December of 99, so going on 25 years. They're actually 25 years. We're in 2025, Jesus is Lord. Oh my
Wow.
God. Yes. 25 years.
25 solid years.
Hmm.
Um, well, I don't need to ask you. I'm talking to a whole PM. You know one thing, people have the impression that project managers earn a lot of money. Do you confirm that? They feel they earn a whole lot. You know, when Nigerians or Africans they're talking about the jobs that you know actually hit home in America, like six-figure jobs. They talk about project management. when they are making examples, is it that lucrative? Sorry, I'm taking you to your profession there.
Oh, no. That's fine. I guess there's a plethora. Or should I say there's a scale. It depends on if you're grateful or if you're lucky enough to find a good company. I've seen project managers need part of my experience as well. I've seen project managers who earn anywhere from 50. You have project managers who here earn all the way to 200K. So it depends on your circle, where your job is, and how you manage your network and what you will and will not take. So
All right.
it depends. So just continue working at what you do and look for the right positioning, because sometimes the title is just the title, but look for the opportunity that actually pays the bills. If you,
Awesome.
Baba, I see
Wow.
you. We're still trying.
Wow, that's amazing. I really enjoy the way you are code mixing because some people are so Americanized that it's almost a taboo to speak their own native tongue. I know we have the other Yoruba language channel, but I appreciate the way that you're comfortable code mixing occasionally when you have to do so. Thank you for that. I'm curious about it because there are a lot of people that are looking to transition right now
Mm.
overseas, and it looks like it's a ready place. It's a terrain that I also, navigated, and somehow it looks like the go-to, profession, PMI, PMP, all those kind of things. Thank you so much for that answer. When we look at it, America, when you arrived in America now, especially for immigrants, what is it, same of same or same old, or anything changed or shifted?
Are we talking over time or just the transition from home to here?
Okay, let's look
What
at
are
it this
we
way.
what is
Mm,
what is the
okay,
comparison we're making?
all right, let's look at it this way. People japad around the time
Mm-hmm,
you japad 20,
mm-hmm,
25 years ago.
mm-hmm,
People japa now. We know how
mm-hmm,
home is for most African countries. Things have not
mm-hmm,
ever gotten better.
mm-hmm.
But then, how was it easy? How was your integration into the society here? I wouldn't say how easy or hard. Just try and compare the journey to now. People that are, especially economic migrants. Some people got family filed for them so that family can be together. But
Mm-hmm.
most people that are migrating now, they are just victims of the economic, issues over there. So when you look at America that you met way back, especially for immigrants, how
Mm-hmm.
easy it was to integrate and the opportunities, and those who are Japan now, what would be the experience?
I would say that question is so pregnant. There's so many prongs
Angles to it.
and branches to it. When I came into the US, I guess the individual plays a huge role in how things play out, to say as well. Because when I came into the US, I had a mindset of what I will and will not take as a person for remuneration. I had an idea of what I will and would not do. And when I got here, people were telling me, oh, you do this and you do that and you do that. And I was like, I'm sorry, that's not me. That's not what I'm going to do, and that's not what I want. So I just went, I guess I've always said it's, I think I mentioned it some time ago, Mobe as a person. So I'm I'm grateful for the orientation I have growing up back home. And when I was in UJ, I actually was working. I was one of the very few original people who would be called a student and a worker. So I was working in corporate in the corporate environment in Nigeria as well. And having that training and understanding of what is and isn't possible, especially in the sales and marketing area, I basically came in here with the expectation of this is what I want and will not accept. So when you set a focus for yourself on what you want to do, thankfully, oh, I should say I'm grateful that I was able to actually just go from where I actually planned. I think I had intention when I came to the US then, people would say, oh, you get $10 an hour job, something. I was like, we make $20 an hour, I'm very buried. And I think I started then at 17 an hour, which wasn't too far from my goal. And but it also makes a huge difference on the circle of people you meet when you come into the country because how would birds of the same feather flock together, because
Right.
what I've found out is if people don't have information, they tend to be they tend to implode themselves, like they're insulated within their own circles, and they get defensive and they don't enlighten themselves. So if you are if you're open to understanding, or if you're lucky enough to be in a circle or have someone who will walk you through processes and open your eyes to possibilities, then that would help. I actually had a couple of friends that migrated after me that I was grateful, or should I say I was honored enough to be able to actually like, don't accept that, don't do that. You can do this. There's opportunities here. Basically push them in the right direction to where you're not settling for the bottom of the barrel. So it it's a lot dependent on both the individual, the environment they find themselves in, and not limiting themselves to a certain circle. Because yes, we're Nigerians. Yes, we love being amongst ourselves. But the whole purpose of coming outside is to expand your horizon. You don't come into the US and still be, quote, quote, you bring the monkey out of the jungle, but you don't take the jungle out of the monkey. You have to expand your horizon and think beyond what you know. Because guess what? What you've learned, what you've known, what your circle know is not the end of what is there to know. So give yourself the opportunity to learn, humble yourself, and know that I don't know Jack. There's so much more to learn. I know of somebody who was high up in a bank in Nigeria when they came here. And that mentality of, Amy, Timoje banker and whatnot, whatever, why would you, till tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, let me say till today, he has not moved beyond the menial jobs because he still has this mentality of you have to respect me, you have to do this, you have to learn the culture of where you are so you can grow within it. But the US of then, when I came, is, I would say, there was a little bit more flexibility and opportunities for immigrants than there is now. I know that there are people buying to just pay if they turn by anyway. There were jobs and things they could do that would not necessarily put an eye on you per se. But over time, the the system has learned about immigrants, where they go, what they do, and things like that. And they kind of try to plug places and loopholes. So it's a little bit more challenging now than it was then. But that doesn't mean that there's no opportunity. It is unfortunate that back home is the way it is. Because if Tawabatule Shekila and Wakiri is just like is my opinion. If we make the country where it needs to be, and as much as I say Niger this, Niger that, I know for a fact that there's improvement to some degree, because Ikotimofile in 1998, I lived in UK 1 year before I moved to the US. So Ikotimofile in 98 is not the Eko that I met. I mean, I started going home. I started trying to go home as often as possible since 2005. And every time I go home, there is something new, something different, something better. Yes, we keep complaining and complaining and complaining. Like even now, when I watch Niger, and I watch Niger movies almost every day, that's me. When you see the high line or the skyline of Lagos when they show it in movies now, and you see from it's not that different from a Miami skyline or a New York skyline, and it gets better and better. we complain that it's not good, but yes, there's room for improvement. There's a whole lot of room for improvement, but we just need to celebrate what we have. But all of that, I've digressed in so many directions. But that said, the Japa of then and the Japa of now, Japa of now has a lot more challenges to face than the ones from back then. And if you have, in my opinion, please pardon me, people don't get offended. Nobody should crucify me for saying this. However, this is just my personal opinion. If I were in the position to have 40, 50 million, 70 million naira that it takes to jackpot now from Lagos to here, I beg, I'm sure I'll find something to do with that money that would make, I mean, that people's lives are changing on a daily basis with less than a fraction of that. So that's just my personal opinion. I hope I did that answer. I made that question a little bit of justice.
Absolute justice. You did justice to the question. You were very, comprehensive, and you were able to bring in a lot of angles to it. You even answered some of my questions in you were a step ahead of me. Thank you for that. Okay, what about, I haven't said what you said and the perspective you're coming from. You used your last part of your answer to kind of connect me with this question.
Okay.
Like you said, if someone has some kind of amount and they can just think through it, they can be more strategic, perhaps they might find something to do with the money locally. But think about it. If someone, I don't know if you get conversations, people like, I want to Japa, I want to come. And these are people that have houses, they have properties. But the only thing is, like, Japa is the in thing. It looks like maybe home country is not working because this is not localized to Nigeria. It's all about international too. So now, and they just feel that the grass is greener on the other side. And it looks like the in thing, maybe because of the ambience and the kind of social media hype these days too, looks like people here are just flaunting and flexing and all of kind of things. If someone asks you today, who you know, like that banker that came here and wouldn't just adjust, wouldn't just humble himself and just integrate, and had been on the same, kind of level ever since. To Japa or not to Japa, what will you be telling to people who are thinking of Japaing and is out of total desperation? And I mean, desperation, let me put it that way.
That's you keep asking all these heavy questions. Well,
Sorry.
no, it's good. It's issues that need to be addressed. So, jackpot for I have friends who are in my age group who are jackpotting now.
I did not ask your age. I'm innocent.
Iwalomo.
I am innocent.
I didn't say anything about okay. Anyway, let's say middle-aged.
Okay, good.
They're younger. They're not as young as they used to be. We're still young, but not as young as we used to be.
Okay.
But and you decide to jackpot now, midlife. The ones who have property, the ones who've gotten enough. I have two examples where actually three examples. One, has property, but it's not like it's inherited. I have one was a bank manager, and I have one who's like Lagos on Lagos terms is absolutely comfortable. And all three of them jackpot. The one who's absolutely comfortable, the jackpotting is not like gone for good. It was a project that brought the family over here. They still maintain their property back home, and they're still going back home. That's the plan. But all three of them, one of the main strain that I find, or main vein I find in the conversation and talking to them is, oh my God, if only I've known, this is harder than I thought. It's expensive, it's painful, it's hard. I mean, the one who's like super comfortable, this is someone who lives in Oshaka, London, nice big home and everything, huge, whatever, with full house of staff. She's like, Looky, mi ò rántí just mo mú vacuum tí mo gbé vacuum pé mo fẹ́ gbálẹ̀. I haven't done that in so long. Like I've never. I mean, it's like and then I used to tell her when I went home then that I want to retire back home. I want to move back home, and she used to be like, you know, boy, she what? I'm like, you have no idea. It's not easy over here. The grass is greener on the other side. Yes, that's because the other side waters the grass and they feed the grass. And the resources they use to water and feed the grass, you got to pay for it. It doesn't come free. So all the little areas where you get billed on a daily basis, it's I mean, you live here, you understand how it is. Nothing is free. So now she understands. She's like, now I understand what you mean. Because in both of us, in my standing as a person, no hassle or no uppityness or whatever. I do my laundry. I cook my food. I drive everywhere. I mean, sometimes I just like, I'm tired. I just don't feel like doing all these things. If I was back home, I can pay somebody company. I actually create another economy for someone's family to be able to pay for their life sustenance and pay for people to do all these things for me. I could do that. For someone who's jackbuying here and they have the resources, they're, to me, I would say something along the lines of what they say about don't ask what your country can do for you, but what about what you can do for the country? Because in my opinion, if we've come to, and honestly, people do it already, no? Like you provide certain things for yourself, even when the government is not doing what they're supposed to do. The system is not where it's supposed to be. But I know of people in Nigeria that I have invested in their businesses who the investment they need is, I mean, you say you have 60 million naira and you want to come and start at a $10 an hour job in America. Tori Kini, me, I don't understand that concept.
Sorry,
because
ma'am.
there are people, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
You said how much? How many millions?
If you have 40 to 60 million,
Okay,
because the last time I was looking at it, I saw it was like in the range of 50 something million is what it takes to jackpot. Okay. If you have that kind of money and you now decide you want to come to America and come and start from ground zero, Koyemi, that kind of concept, I don't understand it. Because there are people back home right now that I invest into their businesses and what they need to make their business run, crazy as it is. 3 million be 2 million long, 1 million be, to get machines and make themselves self-sufficient. And they are doing well. They're improving on a daily basis. So if we have that kind of, it's just for us to be able to sit and see where is the gap in this society? What can I do to contribute to it? So in my opinion, if somebody that has that kind of money and decides, I don't want to live in Nigeria, you want to go, it's good. Come and sit in light and no NEPA, no whatever. However, for no NEPA, you will pay. Even as a renter, you still pay insurance, you still pay taxes, you still pay property taxes, even though you're renting. You still pay, God knows. I mean, we can't even think. One of these days, I'll probably sit down and itemize all the bills that needs to be paid. But that's for someone who's gotten to the point where they have some money enough to say they want to jackpot. But the younger, I mean, I won't say I jackpot. Well, I will call it jackpot. At the time, I didn't, honestly, because when I wanted to leave Nigeria, it was a fight. I did not want to go. My parents and my older siblings were the ones that were like, you have to keep on working. Because at the time, I already had a job and I had visions of what I wanted to do. So I really didn't want to leave. It was more of, you know how it is now. Family. That kind of thing. You have to do what I say. I'm your parent kind of thing. That was kind of the situation for me when I left. And I had just graduated university at the time. So if someone is jackbuying at university age, just graduating university, fine. Go out there, explore, expand, and spread your wings, learn about the world, see what needs to be seen, and come back and do something good with what you've learned. But when you're already in having family, you're having children, and you're having responsibilities, and you've moved up a little in life, and it gets to the point where you're comparing yourself to the Joneses, and you're thinking,
Mm.
oh, I'm not where I need to be. But at the same time, you're not looking behind you to see people who are looking up to you,
Mm.
and you're saying, now I have to go. I'm like, it's up to you. It's a decision. One master we say no because, oh, but at the same time they say, you don't want us to come and enjoy it, and you don't know
Why
what it
don't you come back yourself?
exactly. Bro, I'm planning for it. So
Mm.
it's like, but I had a younger, a very dear family friend of mine ask me, how about your, he calls his daughter my daughter. How about your daughter? What do you think she should travel and whatnot? I was like, if I will not lie to you, if I won't lie to you, this is what I would say. If she has a skill, because education, unfortunately, our generation got taught like everything is book, 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 book. It's not just book. If she has a skill, which she does, and she has a business, I'm like, honestly, if she focuses and builds that business, she won't even need to try and travel. She'll be going and coming at her own convenience when the time comes.
Mm.
Let her build her business and get to the point where she can, because Ishawa, you will never fail anywhere. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. It might be that it's a good opportunity to go out and come back. Either way, it would work for everybody differently. So let everybody assess their situation, look at what they're trying to achieve, where they're trying to go, and get all the facts on the table before making that decision, and make very informed and educated decision, because it will be it's a big shift of life stories
Mm.
if you happen to be where you can't move. You're not stagnant. You
And
can't, I mean, you're stuck.
mm.
That's even worse, because you now think of a place in Badele Kinima,
Mm.
you know, that kind of a thing. It's like, so that's my opinion. Assess it and make the best of the situation. I mean, if you're younger, mid, late teens, mid 20s, up to 30s, go for it. Do whatever you need to do and come back, or do whatever. But when you're starting to get into middle age, you're having kids who are taller than you, and and you're thinking you want to japa, kò ní dá kéèyàn fi arúgbó ara àti ewu orí kó máa lọ fi serve other people. Honestly, because and Americans, they don't care your age, they don't care where you how much gray hair you have. You accepted this job at $8 an hour. This is what we told you that this job is going to be. Go ahead and do it, and you find a 16, 17-year-old telling is and a 60-year-old person, and there is no please or thank you. They'll just tell you this is what it is. Go ahead and do it. And we put a lot of weight on respect and, you know, reverence. People get offended. People get depressed, you
Mm.
know, because of the way they get talked to or spoken to. I mean, I have friends who actually, I think that would be a different conversation. But yes, let them make the assessment and make sure it's worth the trip before making the journey.